worried. And Amblin is somebody that gets criticized by her audience more than pretty much any other audience out there, and in a lot of cases, rightly so. But in this case, it genuinely did seem that a lot of people were worried for Amblin. I saw multiple videos covering this, basically just stating they are just worried for Amblin's well-being. And I can completely understand why. Because think back to that clip that I told some of you to remember earlier.
Has she seen my body? Does she know about my size? Yes. We FaceTime a lot. And normally, like, when I've FaceTimed in the past with, like, partners, I, like, show the ceiling. I'm very much, like, this coded, like, MySpace angles. But with her, I'm super comfortable. And I'm like, this is me. Like, I've shown her my legs, my body, my just everything.
With the context of everything that I've told you, obviously that clip seems a lot more heavier than it did before. And yes, as I said, of course, so many people were speaking about this. This became the talk of the town in the Amblin verse. And of course, like she always does, she responded in a video titled Addressing the Rumors. And the video starts off with Amblin crying, and she's talking about how her and Tommy had a really good time together. But of course, there were bigger issues at hand that Amblin goes into, where she starts off by pretty much straight up denying everything that's been said about Tommy.
There are so many rumors being made up about her, things that are just like wild. Obviously, I have not heard every single rumor, so I can't sit here and deny or confirm every single thing because literally it's just a lot. But I do want to talk about some of the rumors that I have heard, because I feel like that's super important. So the first thing is, no, she is not a feeder. People think that she's a feeder, and she's definitely not that. Like, yes, she has a specific type.
She has a specific type, but despite being on a website that caters to that specific type, none of the things being said about Tommy with her being a feeder, that can't possibly be true. It just, to me, with all the evidence that we've seen and with all the evidence that is floating on the internet that I haven't even put on this video, to me it makes no sense whatsoever. And in fact, it also gives us a confirmation that Tommy definitely is the person that, even though we already knew it, Tommy definitely is the person in all of those screenshots, and we definitely know that Tommy does like that specific body type. And now Amblin does go on to say that everyone in the past that she's been with does prefer bigger girls, and look, that's completely fair, but honestly, I don't think that's what people are worried about or complaining about at this point of time. People are obviously worried for Amblin's well-being. They don't care if somebody like prefers a specific body type, or they like this guy or that guy or this girl or that girl. No one cares about that. People are just worried because they have seen that Amblin Reed is dating somebody that has a very suspicious history. And notice again how the comment section once again is turned off. To me personally, this is just a case of Amblin trying to hide away the truth. She doesn't want her audience that don't really know what she's speaking about to learn what is going on, to see the screenshots, and just work out that Amblin is not exactly telling the truth. But of course, Amblin goes on to confirm once again that, you know, Tommy definitely isn't this thing that she's been caught on multiple websites doing.
9 times out of 10, when someone my size is in a relationship, it's more than likely because I am that person's type. And that's no different in this relationship. But to be a feeder is a completely different topic. A feeder versus someone who prefers bigger girls, two completely different things. And she is not that. She is not a feeder. I would never in a million years be in a relationship with one.
So that was a fucking lie.
I mean, if that's the case, why are there multiple a lot of screenshots out there. Trust me, I've had to look through too many of them. They're all there. Are those screenshots all just fake? Are they not real? Do they just not exist? Because they pretty much say to me that she definitely is this specific thing that people are worried about. People are worried about your safety, Amblin, and rightly so. Somebody has tragically passed away. And yeah, naturally, audiences were just really confused and angry with what Amblin had to say here. Because realistically, this was a very, very rare moment of where people were actually just kind of worried and concerned and just trying to be nice to Amblin and being like, we're concerned. There's this history here. You probably should like step away from that. And Amblin's just being like really combative and just lying once again. And It is kind of sad because you do know that Amberlyn, she's a lover. As I said earlier, she desperately wants to be in a relationship with someone and have a happy ever after. But sadly, this is not going to be a case of that. And as you're going to discover, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And that leads us to the next video that Amberlyn uploaded, and that is It's Over, in which Amberlyn says people don't know the story behind everything, and because of all the drama, her and Tommy, of course, they've broken up.
Because of this, me and now my ex, we're not together anymore, and this has left her like debilitated. Like literally, like her mental health has gone down so much. And she's literally one of the greatest people. And it's like, to see people say things that are not true at all.
Now look, Amberlyn definitely has the full right to be upset with the situation that was ongoing right there. I'm not going to come in here and say how dare Amberlyn not be upset that she's now broken up with her partner because they're exploding into these big public disputes. But there are some issues here with Amberlyn pretty much going on to get upset at her audience for simply being worried about the facts that we have looked at so far in this video. I personally think Amberlyn has the right to be upset, but at the same time, I also think naturally Amberlyn's audience, or pretty much anyone, has the right to be worried and concerned based on Tommy's history. And I think this whole video is just a testament to how many problems Amberlyn causes for herself. Because the reality is she didn't need to reveal any of the information that she's revealed over the last couple of months. She did not need to tell her audience that she's in a new relationship with somebody that she's only known for a week. She didn't need to do that, but she did. And you can only really think to yourself, if you know about the Amberlynverse or Garwell, whatever you want to call it, that she is just doing most of this for attention. But at the same time, the situation does seem a bit more serious than a lot of situations that have been presented towards Amberlyn over the years. So naturally, I think a lot of people were thinking, yes, Amberlyn is definitely doing a lot of things for attention, but at the same time, I think people were also concerned. And going back to the cycle, we're now at around stage 5/6 of where Amberlyn makes a video crying, and that makes her community get even more mad at her. Because yes, as you can imagine, her community definitely got mad at her, because they pretty much just saw this video as another example of Amberlyn pretty much just trying to gaslight her audience into believing something else completely different to the actual narrative that there is. People weren't coming after Amberlyn for being in a relationship. People were coming after Tommy because they saw some very concerning things. And then, of course, after this video and the controversy going around, Amberlyn completes the cycle by uploading another weight gain / loss related video. And it is kind of hilarious that you're going to see this cycle get repeated every single time. It's like poetry, man. But yes, after this, the story does just continue to go down a trajectory of just getting increasingly more insane. You probably started off this video being like, why does Fraser care about relationship drama? Well, what as you're going to discover, things just get worse and worse as we keep on going. Because yes, Amberlyn then went on to upload another video titled This Has All Gone Way Too Far. And in this video, Amberlyn speaks about how everything is going on around her right now and Tommy is just defamation and completely terrible, and that Amberlyn no longer wants to do YouTube anymore. Which again is another case of Amberlyn saying something that she said a million times before, and obviously it led to absolutely nothing, and that actually plays into some of the things that Amberlyn discusses in this video that actually really piqued my interest. Because in this video, Amberlyn actually confirms for, I believe, one of the first times that during a lot of her time on YouTube, she had actually done a lot of stuff for attention. She did a little bit of trolling, and it's like, yeah, I didn't really need to have this confirmed, but I'm kind of glad yet confused at the same time that she has done this.
I do take partial credit into all of this. Years ago, I became a troll. That's a kill. A huge troll. I almost asked for negativity, especially like 2019, 2018, 2017. I almost asked for it. Any attention was good attention for me, even if it was bad, even if it made me feel like. But as someone who's going to be 34 years old, I regret that I regret that side of me.
Now look, this is a bit confusing to me because whilst I'm glad Anne Boleyn is, I guess, changing, she's learned from her mistakes, at the same time, there is obviously a glaring issue here. Anne Boleyn is admitting that she has a history of where a large section of her time on YouTube was her lying and doing things for attention and trolling just to get more and more views. But now she kind of expects us to believe that she isn't in that phase, despite Anne Boleyn is pretty much more dramatic than she has ever been on YouTube. Every single video she uploads at this point is just everything is terrible, the world's ending, and I am sad. And it's like, what do you expect from me or the general audience? Are we just meant to believe that you're now in this new arc of where you're not trolling and doing things for attention, just mysteriously during this era where you're in a lot of controversy, more controversy than you've been in for the last few years? To me and everybody else in the comment section, this just did kind of seem that Anne Boleyn was pretty much just, again, self-inflicting a lot of controversy and pain onto herself by admitting these things because, yeah, you're going to vindicate a lot of people that have said the things that she admitted to there, but also you're just going to have people say, well, things haven't really changed. But then moving away from that and getting further down into this video, we then need to move into some of the more insane things. And there is a bit of lore in this video to do with Anne Boleyn Reid, which I heard it one time and I was like, that can't be real. But no, we're actually going to get into some lore of where we discovered that Anne Boleyn Reid is actually a homewrecker. Because yes, Anne Boleyn goes on to speak about one of her previous relationships before Tommy with somebody called Valentine. And I'm just going to allow Anne Boleyn to take this away and explain to you her accounting of these events.
I'm scared. I'm scared to talk about this. I am. So many of you thought Valentine was fake. That was the biggest thing. Valentine isn't real. Valentine isn't real. And I accepted it for what it was. I was like, they don't want to believe me, that's fine. I'm actively having so much anxiety for what I'm about to say. Like, Valentine's name is Erica, and Erica had a wife.
You know, I just don't get about this. It's like, is there any need to tell me this? I feel like I don't need to know this information. Why is this on your YouTube channel with 200,000+ subscribers? And again, it plays into the thing of Anne Boleyn in this very same video saying that yes, she used to do things for attention. And it's like, well, why are you then telling me about your relationship, which really isn't relevant in this story? Like, why am I needing to know about this? But then it just gets insane because yes, obviously she said that this person had a wife, and I'm like, again, I don't need to know this.
I'm about to reveal screenshots that I can find because this is the only way that I'm going to prove it.
But why? Like, all the screenshots in the world can prove that you are not involved in this. You didn't mean to get involved in this. You're not a homewrecker. But at the end of the day, why? I don't really understand any of this. And look, I've done the research. I've put the pieces together, and I know what's happening here, but I don't understand the need for Anne Boleyn to get on her camera and just let everyone know in 4K, yeah, I got involved in a little bit of homewrecking. It's like, Anne Boleyn, you can do that without telling me or the hundreds of thousands of people that spend their time criticizing you on the internet, rightly so at a lot of occasions. It just makes no sense. And I know people are going to be like, get to the point, Fraser, get to the point. But this is the point. Anne Boleyn is like addicted to telling everyone her personal business. And I'm here to say, Anne Boleyn, just don't need to do this. Like, there is literally no need. She just keeps on speaking.
Here's me not making time for my friends because I am literally always giving every single part of me to Erica. You guys know I struggle with PTD, so one of those things is when I get into a relationship, my partner literally consumes me.
That is quite ironic, given the context of her relationship with John.
Whether they try to or not, do you guys remember that night when my mom stayed the night with me and we colored children? And people were like, oh my god, they're such children. Yeah, that was when I was breaking up with Erica.
Let's move.
Here's my friend Alexis just being Alexis. And to top it all off, here's a screenshot of me telling Alexis that Erica's friends called me while I was at a birthday party. Remember that birthday party I went to when I was outside? It was super hot. Was that a park? It was that day. You guys went from being Valentine's was fake, to them believing Valentine was my most recent ex, all for entertainment.
Again, Amberlynn, that's great and all, like, okay, you've disproved a few rumors that were floating around on Reddit, because that's where this all stems from. Amberlynn loves to do this thing of where there's an occasional Reddit post or viral video of like 5,000 views about her personal business, and she insists on getting on camera and speaking about it, and usually confirming pretty much every single thing. And if you're watching this right now and you don't know who Amberlynn Reid is until you stumbled upon this video, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, why don't she keep on doing this? And honestly, I don't really know. The only real pointer that I can put here is the pointer to the direction of the fact that she just wants to do everything for attention, and basically her personal life is all that she has to make content with at this point, so she's just going to exploit every single detail, no matter how much it makes her look worse, or no matter how much drama it puts her in. And honestly, it is quite a sad cycle, but again, it is the Amberlynn Reid cycle. But this is where things start to get even crazier, of where I started to do some digging into this relationship between Erica and Amberlynn, and I'm not going to show all the screenshots because, and all the clips, because I could be here for years, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, I'm just going to explain the notes that I've taken to kind of explain their relationship, and it is like one of the most mentally ill things I think I've ever witnessed, and I can say that I am mentally ill. But basically, from my understanding, Amberlynn had an affair with somebody that started off their relationship by DMing Amberlynn. And the reason that they actually DM'd Amberlynn wasn't because, oh, they thought Amberlynn was cute, or, you know, they wanted to get into knowing Amberlynn. No, apparently, this individual, Erica, who was in a marriage with another individual, her and that person she was married to decided it would be really funny if they DM'd, or she got her partner to DM Amberlynn and be like, oh, start a fake relationship with her, troll her. That would be really, really funny. Yeah, it would be really, really funny to have a fake affair. You're weird. So then things start to get even crazier because Erica, yeah, she DM'd Amberlynn, but the problem is that Erica started to fall in love with Amberlynn whilst actually being married to her partner, who told her to DM Amberlynn, and her partner was also apparently like a therapist or something. And I know you're gonna get mad at me for not going into the specific details, but all you really need to know is these people that did this, not Amberlynn, the married couple, are mental to a degree of you need to be sectioned and actually analyze, psychoanalyze, because if you're in a marriage with somebody and your bit of fun of the day is let's go start a fake affair with a clearly not mentally stable woman on the internet, honestly, you are just as bad, if not worse, than Amberlynn Reid, because this is just one of the wildest things I think I've ever seen. But yeah, their fake relationship or affair turned into like a real thing, and Amberlynn actually won Erica over and basically became Amberlynn's girlfriend, and it just got really, really messy, and there were a lot of rumors floating around, and yeah, Amberlynn all but confirmed this in this video. And again, it just brings up the question of why do I know this information? I said at the beginning of this video, I didn't really want to make videos about people's personal relationships for the most part, unless it's like a Ned Former situation where, you know, this guy built his reputation on his wife. I love my wife, that's why I cheated on her and ruined our entire lives. Unless it's something like that, where it's actually pretty interesting to speak about. I, for the most part, don't really care if your favorite influencer cheats on their favorite influencer. It's like, that's none of my business. Yes, I think you're a bellend, but realistically, there's nothing more I can really say about that. So why am I being told this? Why do I know this? Why is this content? I don't really know. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna really get to a conclusive answer other than I think she just does it all for attention, and it is this very vicious cycle which clearly damages her, because while she does do a lot of these things deliberately, I don't think Amberlynn Reid enjoys what she does. It's very obvious that she is in a very emotionally vulnerable position. It's very clear to me she hates this job, and it is quite sad to witness. But that, you know, doesn't really avoid criticism from her, and if anything, it just makes you kind of want to criticize her more, so she realizes just you don't need to do this. Just stop. But the Amberlynn cycle only continues because then after all of this, Amberlynn got on the live stream where she once again started to discuss Tommy, and she actually goes on to confirm that her and Tommy, shock surprise, had actually not broken up, and the only reason that she said they'd broken up is because she wanted to protect Tommy from the audience that was psychoanalyzing everything into the situation. And it's just like, you said to us before that you lie about things for attention back in 2019. Didn't you say you don't? But in that same video, you were lying about things. So it's like, what do you expect any of us to believe? Because at this point, it pretty much does just seem that Amberlynn is lying about basically everything. And it's like, Amberlynn, nobody can trust you, so I don't know why you get mad at everyone. Because the reason people don't trust you is because of your own actions. And after she confirms that yes, her and Tommy are still in a wonderful, beautiful romantic relationship, she then goes on to confirm again that Tommy definitely isn't a feeder. But she goes on to say, that's definitely
which rumors are not true. Tommy is not a feeder at all. And I got permission to share like why certain photos were online. So when Tommy was with her late fiance, they were long distance and they wanted to see each other more often, and to do so, they found a way to like make money. And
very nice, Marshall.
It was never like out of like a ill intent type of thing.
I mean, just based on everything Amberlynn has said in that, it does pretty much confirm everything that we kind of speculated over in all the screenshots. I know the screenshots definitely did just prove anything in the very beginning, but to me this clip proves everything. The screenshots on the websites were real, and Amberlynn is pretty much trying to say that this wasn't something of ill intent and it was all for money. I mean, in terms of the ill intent part, I mean, obviously it wasn't an ill intent thing. I don't necessarily believe Tommy intended to, you know, have this person, you know, pass away. I don't believe that. But the problem is obviously the thing that they're into is very, very harmful. Getting someone to gain weight. Obviously, they're into that, and I don't think there is ill intent there. But at the end of the day, it is a very, very damaging thing, and it's clear that Tommy very much has a specific, how do I go about this? She has a specific liking of specific larger individuals, and obviously, we can see a pattern of behavior. Long-distance relationship, Amberlynn, we all know she makes content about being a larger person, and we can clearly see that there are some familiar things going on here, especially with the fact that if you go further down the timeline in a non-chronological order, Amberlynn has gained weight during their relationship, and obviously you start to put two and two together and it all adds up. So naturally, as you can imagine, a lot of people did not really believe anything Amberlynn was saying here, in particular the financial incentive aspect of everything. I think more people just saw that this was once again another case of Amberlynn lying and being one of the biggest liars on the internet. But now we need to continue moving through this big mess of a timeline and introduce a new character in this story, and that is Alexis, the supposed former best friend of Amberlynn Reed. Now the reason that I'm introducing Alexis is because pretty much, well, Alexis is a known person in this storyline. Amberlynn, as I said, has confirmed that her and Alexis were best friends, and Alexis actually came out with a TikTok basically stating that she is no longer friends with Amberlynn because Amberlynn pretty much refuses to get out of her relationship with Tommy. Now the problem is all of these TikToks, all of the posts about this have pretty much been removed from the internet. So instead, we're gonna have to go through my research notes to pretty much timeline everything that happens during this set of events between Alexis and Amberlynn. So yes, let's get into it. On August the 3rd, 2024, Alexis states in a video that she is publicly no longer friends with Amberlynn because she did not want to support her relationship with Tommy. Then this turns into more beef on August 4th, where Alexis posts more screenshots of Amberlynn refusing to talk to Alexis until she publicly apologizes to Alexis, and Alexis refuses to apologize. And then things become very weird, where pretty much strange drama ensues called Crumblegate, where Alexis in videos and streams hints that Erica sent videos of Amberlynn with well, how do I say this, not many clothes on whilst eating cookies, and it pretty much just diverts into this big mess. Now, my personal opinion on this is Alexis pretty much backstabbed Amberlynn, and I know that might sound a little bit controversial, but yeah, you can be worried about your friend's relationship and you can actually step back and no longer want to participate in your friendship with that person because you can clearly see that your friend is not helping himself, and I completely understand why that would have happened between Eric and Amberlynn, but then needlessly going into more and more drama, exposing private information, getting on videos and streams, to me personally, it's not something that a best friend would do. And I actually can understand why Amberlynn would be upset by Erica in this situation. I think the very first thing Erica did here in detaching herself from Amberlynn made sense, but pretty much everything after that to me was just Alexis going too far and absolutely stabbing Amberlynn in the back. And this is something that you're going to discover when it comes to the Amberlynn verse, is pretty much a lot of people in this whole universe are honestly on the level of Amberlynn when it comes to attention seeking and being bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, more I look into this stuff, the more it kind of seems that a lot of the friends and family surrounding Amberlynn Reid are just as chaotic and just as messy as her. Because yes, when it comes to this backstabbing, things only become even more of a mess when Amberlynn uploaded a video after all of this where she states that she went on a double date with Alexis whilst Tommy was there. Yes, Tommy being the same individual that Alexis claimed that she could not be friends with Amberlynn with anymore because she saw that the relationship was obviously very, very worrying and concerning. And of course this caused a lot of people to get increasingly mad at people like Alexis and people like Amberlynn because yeah, it very much just seemed that this whole thing was becoming a bit of a reality TV show, a bit of a circus. And yeah, that caused a lot of people to go into the comment sections, go into the live chats, and just pretty much say to Amberlynn that they insulted her quite a lot, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to say you're right in doing that. Please don't go and do that. But I do kind of get the frustration. And of course, the Amberlynn Reid cycle that we created earlier really just foretells events in the future once again, because in every single chapter of this saga, Amberlynn, after she gets in more and more heat, seems to a few weeks later just upload a video about weight loss. And yeah, I do believe this is a distraction tactic. For example, only a few weeks after the stuff with Alexis, she uploaded multiple videos talking about her weight loss, and even before that she uploaded this video here during all of the feeder drama speaking about weight loss. It very much is a big part of this cycle, and you're going to see it keeps on repeating throughout all of this. And I want to specifically take a look at this video here because again, it's just something that Amberlynn loves to do when she's in the heat of controversy. Oh, people are like criticizing me, they're mad at me for something, I'll just upload a weight gain video, I'll get the kids talking about something else. And honestly, it does actually work for Amberlynn Reid because for a long time I did just sit on the sidelines thinking, oh, the only issue here is the weight related stuff. I don't really care about anything else. But the reality is as I said at the beginning of this video, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Amberlynn Reid is so much more than the very beginning introductory drama of weight gain and weight loss. At this point, Amberlynn has done so many controversial things, been exposed for so many things, that the weight gain related stuff, I genuinely think her audience just see that and laugh at this point and just see Amberlynn just doing things for attention to distract from very bad criticism. But to be fair, with this video, Amberlynn does actually go on to confirm that, yeah, she has gained weight. And of course, with the context of this situation, it did actually distract. And honestly, rightly so in this case, because obviously we have a lot of feeder conversation. We have seen somebody pass away who was a very, very large weight, 1,000 pounds allegedly. And of course, people are going to put two and two together, as I mentioned earlier, and think that something very worrying is going on here. And that obviously only frustrated and angered the audience even more because people are seemingly being proven right. Our worries are being proven right in front of our eyes, and yet Amberlynn insists that the audience are absolutely in the wrong. Tommy's never done anything but be right in every single situation, and we are just absolutely stupid. And in the video, Amberlynn actually goes on to explain her weight gain by stating the reason that she gained weight is because it's like a side effect of her colitis.
I always gain weight back like super quickly after I have cellulitis.
But one Google search will tell you that cellulitis and weight gain aren't really intertwined. There is no real evidence to suggest that if you have cellulitis, you will gain weight. And yes, I am fully aware that I did just mispronounce cellulitis multiple times, and I think I actually did just mispronounce it once again. I'm not sorry. But then mysteriously after this, the story starts to divert a little bit because Amberlynn obviously had angered her audience to a maximum extent over these few months, and mysteriously, after all of that, Amberlynn Reed disappeared, which was strange. Amberlynn is known as a content creator that uploads multiple videos every single week, but Amberlynn did not upload for a month, and it got a lot of people worried, because one of our last videos before Reading was about moving to Wisconsin, where Tommy lives, and of course, naturally, with everything that was going on, people started to get concerned. Is Amberlynn okay? Was she safe? What was going on? And as you can imagine, well, things were only starting to get worse. Because yes, after a month of being away, Amberlynn finally returned with a video titled Where I've Been. And in this video, Amberlynn pretty much explains to the world that things were just becoming a little bit too much to handle with everything going on in the saga, and that she just wanted to focus on her beautiful time with Tommy.
Hey guys, welcome to a new video. So, I've been gone for a minute. I needed a break. It was a much needed break. And honestly, I feel like I can continue this break, but so many of you are like, where are you?
Now, I don't actually have a problem with Amberlynn Reed taking some time off and actually just separating herself from the internet, because the whole thing I've been saying throughout this video is, honestly, why do I know any of this information? I don't need to know this stuff, as does anyone else on the internet. And it is actually pretty nice to see that Amberlynn decided to take some time for herself. But Amberlynn then started to upload more and more videos whilst being in Wisconsin, and it kind of got a lot of people out there speculating that Amberlynn, after just a month of being in a relationship with Tommy, had actually moved in with her. And naturally, with all the drama previously, everything adding up, the weight gain, all the screenshots on certain websites, people they were concerned because now Tommy had Amberlynn living with her, and that was all but confirmed because Amberlynn obviously stated that she was in Wisconsin and had been there for over a month at this point. She had traveled with her animals. Her cats were with her dogs were with her, and obviously, when you go somewhere from a very far distance and you take all of your animals, you uproot your life, take all of your belongings, it's only gonna cause people to think that you've moved somewhere. And it seemed that she had moved in with Tommy, and people were worried that Tommy now had Amberlynn where she wanted her, and that was going to lead to a very dark and sinister situation, like we saw previously, allegedly. And naturally, people were worried, and of course, naturally, that led to Amberlynn playing on those worries, after she uploaded 2 videos titled We Need to Talk and addressing everything. And you know, despite the dramatic thumbnails and despite the dramatic titles, nothing was addressed, and these videos were pretty much just outright clickbait that played into the worries of Amberlynn's audience. And of course, that just led to more upon more criticism of Amberlynn. And again, you just kind of have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? It isn't going to help you in any situation, and it does just make you think that of course she is doing all of this for bait and attention. And that does then lead us into the next chapter in this ever-long, massive, ridiculous, terrible saga, where Amberlynn uploaded a video once again about the Tommy rumors, and as you can see, it did not exactly go down well with the audience. Considering this is like the 50th video about this situation, I'm personally not that shocked.
A lot of you want someone to hate, and it's easy for you guys to hate Tommy for whatever reason. You guys don't know her in person like I do, and I'm telling you, she is lovable and likable, and I am happy and in love with her. And I know a lot of people want to twist this really dark narrative, but I'm telling you, it's not real.
Now, obviously, this is pretty much the more of the same that we've seen throughout this video and throughout this entire saga. Amberlynn's pretty much being like, you guys have no valid reasons to hate on Tommy, and it's like, we've seen the screenshots on the website. We have seen the person's life literally go, we have seen so many bad things, and it just doesn't seem like a good time, Amberlynn. Too many things are adding
Illinois. This is Ethan Klein of the Rise of Liberal Islamophobia.
Figure out this stuff. Like, this was happening for a few months, and now it doesn't really happen so much. And I don't even know how, but they have like their secret ways.
אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם, ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
When you talk about privilege, let's talk about someone who's going to UC Berkeley, paid by their parents, $200,000 tuition on campus protesting Israel. Do you find that ironic?
I personally think it's so ironic. It's just like, I don't know, it's kids sitting here in like beautiful California criticizing, like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
What we're seeing now at Columbia, and I don't use this word lightly, we're not seeing ideological war. We're not seeing support for terrorism. We are seeing terrorism.
When I grew up, I couldn't really take a bus. I was afraid of blowing up.
Right.
And now it doesn't really happen. So the wall did help. So should we not have a wall?
Since the events of October 7 and the ongoing disproportionate retaliation by the Israeli state, both Islamophobia as well as anti-Semitism have been on the rise in the United States.
And the Palestinians are taught to kill us at 2 years old.
That's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Do we have that one?
I don't understand why left-leaning media, which is mostly Jewish, are calling people white supremacists, dude.
Jewish. Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Left-wing media is mostly Jewish?
In order for Israel to maintain their system of apartheid and to justify their inhumane actions in Gaza, Islamophobia is quite obviously ingrained in Israeli society and Israeli politics. However, by associating itself and its actions with the religion of Judaism, falsely claiming to be acting on the wishes of the Jewish diaspora, Israel, ironically, is also perpetuating anti-Semitism, and that is 100% by design.
They are vehemently against not only Israel, not only the Jewish students. Anti-Semitism is unquestionably a problem at the universities, but it goes significantly beyond that. These are protesters who are being influenced by outside organizations. The Islamic Republic of Iran is thanking them for their work. They are giving permission to these terrorists.
Overnight, the U.S. House passed a bill 32291, and a group of representatives say they want to protect their Jewish constituents. And the bill would essentially make it easier for the Department of Education to enforce anti-discrimination laws at public institutions.
So this bill would require the Department of Education to use the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism, denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor.
Anti-Semitism is an ancient form of bigotry, but since the creation of Israel for the past 80 years or so, it's been used as a tool for the growth and continuation of Israel's existence. And no, this isn't some conspiracy theory. Israel quite obviously wants more anti-Semitism in the world in order to justify its Zionist project. And by continuing their atrocious actions in Gaza and the West Bank, while wearing symbols representative of Judaism and claiming to be acting on the basis of Judaism, they guarantee the continuation, if not escalation, of global anti-Semitism.
The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial, and it will end the same way. The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and our former Defense Minister, was made by a rogue prosecutor who's trying to extricate himself from sexual harassment charges, and by biased judges who are motivated by anti-Semitic sentiments against the one and only Jewish state.
Sleek and stylish in this wool blend, Najiba is hot, hot, hot. It's a look that screams, look out world, I'm a woman of the 12th century.
Islamophobia is also an ancient form of bigotry, and although its existence in the United States was prominent before, Islamophobia's use as a tool for manufactured consent reached its cultural climax more recently, specifically after 9/11.
You're saying that Islamophobia is not a real thing, that if you're critical of something...
Well, it's not a real thing when we do it.
Right.
Well, no,
it really isn't.
I'm not denying that certain people are bigoted against Muslims as people, and that's a problem.
Big of you.
But
why are you so hostile about this?
It's gross. It's racist.
We have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And
of course we do. No liberal doesn't want
Dude, Sam Harris is so funny. Look at this tweet. The problem of anti-Semitism in Europe is mostly coming from the Muslim community and the far left. It's still a fringe phenomenon in the U.S., though that could change. And it's so funny because this is like the European style. He's doing the European method. That is delusional, dog. These are the people that did the Holocaust. And you're like, yeah, the people who are direct descendants of those who carried out the atrocities of the Holocaust have no nascent, unexamined anti-Semitic tendencies whatsoever. It's actually the Muslims that are importing anti-Semitism to these countries. It's also ridiculous to say it's a fringe phenomenon in the U.S. There's a lot of unexamined anti-Semitism in the U.S. as well.
It's gross. It's racist.
We have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And
of course we do. No liberal doesn't want to criticize bad ideas.
But Islam at this moment is the motherlode of bad ideas.
Jesus.
So we have
9/11 was a major turning point in the United States. The 90s were almost seen as the end of America's global fight against evil. The USSR was far behind us, and the United States didn't have a major adversary that they could villainize for their own self-interest. So in August of 2001, when George Bush was briefed by the CIA about credible threats of plane hijackings, it was the perfect opportunity for manufacturing consent. And that opportunity became reality on September 11th.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those responsible and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbored them.
For the next 2 decades and counting, the United States would use this day to not only justify their actions in Iraq, but to justify any sort of potential war crimes inflicted on an Arab or Muslim population.
The 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda, an organization headed by Osama bin Laden, which had openly declared war on the United States and was committed to killing innocents in our country and around the globe. And so we went to war against Al-Qaeda to protect our citizens, our friends, and our allies.
And 9/11 was only the catalyst. Growing up in the United States post 9/11, I was surrounded by subtle yet quite obvious in retrospect anti-Arab propaganda. 2013 saw the release of World War Z, a zombie apocalypse movie, where at the movie's climax, we see a mob of zombies scaling the walls surrounding Jerusalem and attacking the civilians taking refuge. And who's on the other side of that wall in real life? Palestinians. This movie literally illustrates Palestinians as blood-hungry zombies. 2014 saw the release of American Sniper, a film following U.S. Navy SEAL Chris Kyle and his deployment in Iraq and then New Orleans.
He then later said that when he got back home, that he was on top of the Superdome and he
Dude, that's like, Chris Kyle. Oh my God, Kyle. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's such a racist, lying piece of dude. Annem mi aldı? Emin misin? Annemin aldığına eminsin. Sordun mu? Sipariş ettin. My dad has ordered the fattest cannolis I've ever seen. After I told him, please don't buy any more desserts and treats. I keep eating them. I can't stop myself. Okay? Yeah. Chris Kyle is a liar, a fraud, a racist. He's just an awful dude.
Shot over 30.
And the irony is the one time he was trying to do right by his fellow veterans, he got killed by a fellow veteran who he was trying to help with his PTSD. The irony is the one time he was trying to not be a asshole and try to help out a fellow veteran, he killed him. He just popped him when they went to the gun range together. It's nutty.
Looters during Hurricane Katrina.
I mean, maybe it wasn't the best idea to take a PTSD-riddled veteran to the gun range, but I'm just saying, his intentions seemingly were good in that instance.
What a preposterous lie. How stupid stupid are you if you believe that?
Throughout the film, he's seen as both a hero of America's freedom as well as a victim of our own actions, almost making it seem like we had to be in Iraq, but it was still a sad situation. God, I love neoliberalism. And what was happening during the release of this movie? The United States was propping up and funding rebel groups in the Syrian civil war to overthrow President Bashar al-Assad. And whoops, we just created ISIS. We also grew up with master works like Captain Phillips, where Somali pirates are given zero humanization or explanation for why they're hijacking ships, the only explanation being they're just a bunch of crazy Arabs. Or the beautifully innocent movies of Sacha Baron Cohen, a British man who's made an entire career off of perpetuating dehumanizing anti-Arab stereotypes.
In my country, we have KFC. Kazakh fried cat.
These associations in our media create an anti-Arab bias in the minds of its audience. But where those biases are confirmed is when these victims of American imperialism reach a point of retaliation, like the events of October 7th.
Today, the people of Israel are under attack. In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere, the United States stands with Israel. I got up this morning, started this at 7:30, 8 o'clock, my calls. Hamas terrorists crossing in Israel, killing not only Israeli soldiers, but Israeli civilians. Entire families taken hostage by Hamas. Just days after Israel marked the holiest of days in the Jewish calendar. It's unconscionable.
For the past year, ever since October 7, 2023, Islamophobia has seen a resurgence in American media. Palestinians are described as terrorists who have a hidden desire to unalive Jewish people from a young age.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
That's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Do we have that one?
Like Kamala.
The other one.
I could add it.
He says that.
And those who support the people of Palestine are labeled anti-Semites or even terrorists themselves.
What we're seeing now at Columbia, and I don't use this word lightly, we're not seeing ideological war. We're not seeing support for terrorism. We are seeing terrorism.
And what it was literally a vigil for terrorists. Now, I was on the University of Washington campus last week when they had this big rally.
Not my shy Davide.
This big march for Hamas, when they were literally chanting, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And they mean free of Jews. They want